I spent a long time compiling a lot of scripture out of the Bible and looking up everything having to do with the chosen people and the synagogue of Satan. And I've come to one solid determination. There are two groups of Jews, the fake ones and the real ones. And I feel like the real ones are the ones that are getting massacred in Palestine right now. And the fake ones are those who are calling themselves Jews, but they are not. And they're worshiping the Star of Remphan. And if you look at the Israeli flag, that's exactly what it is. So we can just look at all of these Bible verses that are behind me. You can read them as I scroll. And all of them are going to say exactly what I'm saying to you now. These people are the devil's chosen. And it says it in multiple ways. You can slice and dice it however you want it. But they're the devil's chosen, and they throw it in your face, and they go against God, and they kill God's creations every chance they get. Now let's look right here. This is the Star of Remphan, and these are ancient relics that show the Star of Remphan throughout history. This is very old stuff. You could just Google the images of the Star of Remphan. Clearly, that is the same symbol that is on the Israeli flag. Okay? And the Israeli flag is also, it should be noted that it's also 666 encoded. You have 6 points on the star, 6 triangles, and 6 sides of the hexagon in the middle. That is 666. And in addition to that, this sign is shown throughout all the other sects of religion as well. And my guess is they've incorporated into other people's religion as part of their hoax to legitimize themselves, but it never says it in the Bible, and it never says it in anything that is really official. It might be on the Pope's hat, it might be on a dollar bill or whatever, but it's not in the Bible. And they can't fake that because they can't develop a time machine and go back and change the shit. And all throughout history, these people have been called a brood of vipers. How can you speak of God when you are the devil? You are serpents, you brood of vipers. How are you to escape being sentenced to hell? You know, Jesus tells some of his opponents that although they claim Abraham as their father, if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. But you are of your father the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires, you know, and it's evident in their works. They're literally destroying God's creation everywhere they go. They're literally defiling the 10 Commandments everywhere they go. You can always distinguish the synagogue of Satan between real people and fake people, because the synagogue of Satan isn't just the first chapter, the Old Testament of the Bible. They're also They're also the Talmud and the Kabbalah, which is their real pagan religion, which involves sacrifice. Monotheism is not on the menu. They're not monotheistic. They have many gods that they worship. And and when we talk about who is the chosen, this behind me is all the notes that I have on who is the chosen. And this clearly does not apply to them. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, you'll have to look back at those notes. It's basically when only through Christ can you get to heaven and that sort of thing. And it clearly cuts them right out of the picture. And in fact, the word Jew didn't even exist in the time of Christ, and that's a big piece of context nobody ever gets. Also, Israel was not a person originally. I mean, it was a person originally, not a place. And we should talk about Israel. The account found primarily in Genesis 32:22, with the name later reaffirmed in Genesis 35:9. Jacob wrestled with a mysterious man through the night. He refused to let go without a blessing. His hip was dislocated during the struggle, and he was renamed Israel. For you who have striven or wrestled with God and men have prevailed, Jacob named the place Peniel and said he had seen God face to face. He walked with a limp afterwards. God appeared to Jacob again, and God reaffirmed with Jacob, your name shall not be called Jacob anymore, but Israel shall be your name. And a person is not a Jew who is one outwardly, but one inwardly. Circumcision is being described to the heart by the Spirit, and not all who are descended from Israel belong to Israel. So there's obvious correlations with what I'm saying here, that they are no longer the chosen people. And and let's see here. What else does it say? Those who receive Christ are given the right to become children of God. Jesus teaches that people must abide in him. Apart from him, they cannot bear fruit. Cannot bear fruit. Probably not fruit that's any good anyways. And there is salvation in no one else. So obviously we're not talking about them. Salvation is promised to everyone who confesses Jesus is Lord and believes in him, for there is no distinction between Jew and Greek. Now, we need to talk about the devil. The Bible does not present a single continuous account of Lucifer's fall. The traditional understanding combines several passages. Some passages are interpreted by many Christians as referring directly to Satan, while others understood are addressing earthly kings, while also symbolically alluding to Satan. Lucifer was originally called beautiful. He was like the highest angel. He became proud, and his beauty and splendor and status, he tried to exalt himself above God. He sought the throne above the heavenly. He wanted to be the highest angel. He desired to be the most high. Pride corrupted his wisdom. Sin, unrighteousness, and violence were found in him. Who does that resemble? Who are we talking? Are we talking about Israel? Or are we talking about Satan? He rebelled against God. He did not remain in the position God had assigned him. God cast him down from heaven to the earth. Other angels joined his rebellion and were cast down with him. Satan is later described as a liar, the father of lies, and a murderer from the beginning. The sins are more consistently associated with his fall are pride and self-exaltation, rebellion, and corruption. And the only people that we can really look at in this world who embody that description is who? The so-called Jews and the so-called state of Israel. And when you factor in all of this information, there is only one logical conclusion. Say it with me now. What we call Jews today are the synagogue of Satan. They are Satan's chosen people, the great deceivers. The devil tried to become God, and he lies and imitates God because he resents God. He wrestles with God and creates a nation that is a brood of vipers and names it Israel to mock God. He tries to lord over and destroy all of God's creation. He wants to be worshipped, and he wants to be worshipped, and all he has to offer are worldly things like money and fame, and he can't use truth or love to get his way. He has to blackmail and use pedophilia and your own transgressions against you. Are you getting it yet? Are you getting it yet? Say it with me now. These are the devil's chosen people. And there's something that I think about a lot that I don't think you guys are going to fully agree with me on, and it's okay if you don't, and we can chop it up later about that. But I have a theory that both Christians and Muslims are the chosen people, because we both have respect for Jesus. So why are we fighting each other? Like, that's the whole point of my page. Like clearly they respect Jesus, right? They just don't think he's God, right? And if you can only get to heaven through Jesus, then they're at least in his good graces, right? Right? And I'm not sure if the Bible says that you have to have faith in Jesus during life, or maybe it could mean that after you die, you might have to talk with Jesus, and based upon what you say, you can go forth through the gates, or you might get denied. So when we talk about this, and they try, and the clear synagogue of Satan is trying to divide, because only Satan divides. If they're trying to divide us, and obviously the only reason they would do that is because they're so weak, and there's no other way for them to defeat us other than to divide us. So, it's something worth thinking about. And it's also something worth thinking about that, maybe good people who don't believe in Jesus might not be going to hell because, they're good people, and I don't know if I'm right about this or not, but I'm just thinking out loud here, and maybe they're going to heaven, or maybe they're going to at least bump into Jesus, and he'll tell them how they've made a mistake. I mean, because if somebody never heard about the Bible or whatever, are they going to hell? I don't think so, because that doesn't make sense. Do babies go to hell? I don't think so. So I think that there's a chance for redemption after you die, and I also think that when you die, I don't think you really go to hell. I think that's that might be made up, because there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that was hidden away from us, and stuff that it was like a very political document at the time. They chose what they were going to put in and what they're going to take out, and they didn't put certain books in. There's just look up the Apocrypha. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So there's much to be discovered. Book of Enoch and such. Yeah. So, if you like this kind of content and you want to keep on noticing with a guy like me who's, a thinker, who's going to, bring the receipts like what you see right here, and I'm going to post it in the comments for you. I want you to follow my page, share my stuff, get the word out. No more division, no more talking shit about Muslims, no more talking shit about Buddhists. This whole, ethnocentrism cannot be bred by a real faith in Jesus or God or Allah or Muhammad, peace be upon his name. Of course, you should say that every time you say his name, because it shows them that you respect them, and they need our respect because they respect us. So anyways, do me a favor and don't be a goy. Follow your boy and keep on noticing with me.